Evening, everyone. We will begin shortly. Thank you.
Hello, good evening.
Hi, good evening. Welcome, everyone. We'll begin shortly. Thank you. Good evening,
No
Janelle.
Good evening.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, guys.
Good evening.
Mia, should we give it a couple minutes or do you think we should?
Yeah, let's give it a minute or two for the
Okay.
members to get in here.
Hi, I was on mute. Sorry.
Yeah, I
Why
just
don't
2 minutes. I just need
Okay.
to step out really quickly.
Okay.
Okay, so it's 7:03 now. I think we can maybe start in like a minute. Just want to be cognizant of everyone's time. Is that okay, Mia?
Sure thing.
Okay, great. Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone is well. My name is Janelle Basil Charles, and I am the chair of the Public Safety Committee. We do have a packed agenda tonight. We have 2 SLA applications to review. We have the Green Room, and then we have Cecil and Sia. I hope I'm saying that right. But the Green Room is coming back from the last time. Mia, I have a question. Being that, the board members and myself, we asked, the Green Room, like just several questions the last time. Would we have to go through the entire process again, of them presenting, and then answering questions, or can we just like move forward with like voting on the application?
Yeah, essentially, there's no need to do a full presentation. Mr. Palillo can give just a brief rundown just for any interested party that was not here previously or any absent committee member with just location, hours, and basic information that would be, applicable to the site.
Great. So I guess the representative of the Green Room, you can just briefly go over, your restaurant and what you're applying for. And then we can just move forward with that.
I can handle that. Good evening, everyone. How are you? As was stated, we met with the committee in September. We're opening a restaurant, approximately 2,000 square feet, the maximum occupancy of 60 persons. The corporate name is Quincy's Hospitality. It's taking over the location that was previously the Inkwell Cafe. Our hours of operation are Monday to Thursday from 3 p.m. to 11 p.m., Friday and Saturday from 12 p.m. to 1 a.m., and Sunday 12 p.m. to 11 p.m. There is no outdoor seating. There's 12 tables and 32 seats with 8 to 10 employees. I think I would characterize it as American comfort. My client might yell at me, but it's this type of thing that people like. And that's basically it. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Does any board members or community resident members have any questions at this time for the green room?
No, I see that Mr. Palillo pretty much read what was on the application. I reviewed it prior to the meeting.
Yes, I did. Guilty. Busted.
I had one question.
Yep.
Is there going to be any music, live music, or?
Yes, hello, my name is Jerry Hudgens. I am part of the Quincy Hospitality Group. There is a small space in the back. We would like to have jazz music and spoken word and things of that nature in the rear of the property.
Okay, but nothing like crazy, just calm, relaxing.
No, not at all. That's not professional.
That's great. That's great. I love jazz music.
See you soon.
Mr. Hudgens, I do have one question. Come to think about it, I just want to make sure it was accurate. I remember the name on the application was Quincy Hospitality, but yet the
Yes.
owner of the resident was also named Quincy, but they said there was no relations. Is that accurate?
Do you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, yes. So the Quincy is my mom who owns the residence. And I'm part of Quincy Hospitality. I'm taking over the business just to make sure that we run it the way the way that my mom always dreamed about it being ran, and the way the family wants it ran. So yeah, it's under my mom's upstairs. She's part of the residence, and she's aware that we're taking over the
Right.
business.
When Enrique says residence, he means the building.
Yes, he's the owner of the business, the building. Yes, that's what I mean.
Okay, and another concern that I had on the application actually answered it. I seen that you guys had the signs posted outside of the or within the building or whatever, and I seen a bunch of signatures on it. So I did review it.
Yeah, the petition.
That is correct.
Yeah, that was part of the process we had to go through to present it to the board.
Are there any more questions at this time? Okay, great. So Mia, I'm not too sure if we have quorum tonight. Let's see.
I think I believe there are only 4 members here, but I believe Mrs. Cohen will be attending. Zlati, could you give us an update? Do you know if Mrs. Cohen will be in attendance at some point this evening? Because I would just recommend.
I could call her now. I could find out.
Thank you. I'd
Okay.
appreciate that.
Okay.
So I would recommend just holding the vote to the end of the meeting, because I believe that would just be the best thing for the applicants at this point.
Okay, great. So you all can either like stay for the total duration of the meeting, or you can pop back in towards like the later end of the meeting if you would like. Me
Can I
to-
ask a question?
Mr. Palillo, I can reach out to you in the morning with an update.
Mia, you've been wonderful throughout. Thank you.
Not a problem.
For
Take care,
giving us the
guys.
time and the consideration. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
May I ask a question, please? May I ask a question? I understand the full board meeting we are asked to attend on October 23rd. Is that correct?
Yes, we will be in person at Middle School 61.
It's in person. That was my question. There's no
Yes,
ability to Zoom?
no Zooming, just in person only.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, take care.
Take
Have
care.
a good month, guys.
Thank
All right,
you.
guys. Take care.
Okay, great. So now we can move forward with our next SLA application. Do we have the representative for Cecil and Sia Inc. here with us tonight? Doesn't look like they're here.
Yeah, I don't see Ms. Prasad here. And it's very wild because they were adamant about the submission of the documents to make the agenda.
Mhm. Do you think we should maybe give them like a couple of more minutes to potentially stroll in, or should we?
I am on the call. I don't know why. Can you hear me?
Oh, we couldn't hear you. Ms.
Yeah.
Prasad, is that you?
Yeah, that's me. I'm here.
Yeah, we just see iPhone, so you weren't identified in the.
I'm trying to say hello, but I'm not sure. Yeah, I've tried to log on my computer. Can you hear me though? Can you?
We can hear
Yes,
you
we
now.
can hear
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. Sorry about that. Mhm.
Okay, awesome. So typically how this runs is you would just present basically the application to the board. You would tell us a little bit about the restaurant and what license it is, you know, that the restaurant is applying for. Then the board, as well as community resident members, has an opportunity to ask you any questions that, you know, or just speak of any concerns that they may have when it comes to this application. So I will take the floor to speak.
Good evening, everyone. So my name is June Prasad. I am representing Cecile and Sasha, which DBA Golden Crust, located at 823, 825 Franklin Avenue. This is a very small location, and you know they just acquired the space next door. It's 1,350 square foot. They're requesting a full liquor license because you know when someone come into the restaurant, they want to be able to serve beer, wine, and you know cocktails, which require some type of spirit. We did collected signature from you know people in the neighborhood who would like to see that type of thing. They are within the 500-foot rule, and I think that's it. It's a typical Golden Crust, and they're just requesting, you know, like a license so that they can operate in compliance if they, you know, choose to have alcohol on the premises. They've been in business for 23 years at the same location. Hello?
Yes, there is.
Sorry.
You can go ahead, Rod. Yeah, there's a question by Rod. Yeah.
Okay.
Hello, Ms. Prasad. How are you today?
I am fabulous, sir. Yourself?
Outstanding. Right. So my question is, just so that I understand the layout. So there's an existing Golden Crust restaurant that is there, and you're
Correct.
acquiring the space which is directly next door.
They have already acquired a space 3 years ago.
Okay. So is this going to be a pass-through space? In other words, from the Golden Crust restaurant to the newly acquired space?
Correct. There's two adjoining doors. So when someone come in to buy stuff from the Golden Crust and they want to just go sit there and you know eat their food, because typically most Golden Crusts are takeout, they
Right.
can do so. Like I said, the space is 1,300 and whatever I just quoted. So it's a very small space, and they can sit there and eat. If they want to have a cocktail, they can have a cocktail, you know, while eating their dinner. I hope that answers the question.
Okay, yes. Also have some others. Okay,
Sure.
so there's going to be I looked at the application. You said the application stated, excuse me, that there's going to be live music there and karaoke.
So sometimes you just put everything on the application just to, in case there's one time you want to have a little karaoke evening and afternoon, because there's a space there. You can have like a private event, say 25 people, whatever you. So it was just put on the application just in case you do have it one night and you want to be in compliance. Same thing with the live music. Maybe they may never have a live music, but just to make sure it's covered if they're, because the space is not that big to have live music. but we just put it in there just to make sure that everything is in compliance, just in case we do have it one night.
So also on the application, this is a security question. There
Sure.
was an item there that stated you were going to have 3 security personnel.
Well, the liquor, to get a full liquor license, there is required that you have security. If, let's say you're having a private event and things like that, it's always better to have security to control if there should be any kind of, situations. It's always better to be safe than sorry.
Okay, so then the follow-up to that question,
Mhm.
it stated that the security person or personnel will monitor,
Inside.
I guess, the premises by looking at a monitor. I just want to know if you can talk about that a bit.
No, I don't recall saying monitor means physically walking like within the radius of the area. There's no thing as a monitor. I don't know if that was misunderstood. Mhm.
Okay, no, that's probably me. I misunderstood it. Okay.
That's quite okay, sir. We're all allowed to do so. Mhm.
All right. So, and these individuals will be working on shift, and you said there'll be, if you do have any event, you'll have up to 3 security personnel.
Correct.
Okay. And will there be any opportunities to have a private event at this location, or is the space
Yes, a
too small?
very small event like a fundraiser or let's say a poetry event. There was an event there for an acting organization, like what they call it, premiere of something, but it was a small 25 people, 30 people. It's not a very big space.
Then my last question is that
Sure,
has there,
sir.
I don't know if this is to you or maybe to the Mia and company. When was the last, or do you recall any events that took place that involved the restaurant? Were there any actions that required police intervention at the restaurant?
Not that I'm aware of. I don't know if the committee board is aware of any incident.
Okay.
Yes, anytime that someone applies for an SLA application, we reach out to FDNY and NYPD to confirm any prior actions. But since this is a new license, any issues that would have taken place for it could not be connected to this license. And it hasn't operated as an alcohol selling establishment.
Understood. Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're very welcome, sir. My pleasure.
Same here.
Okay, great. I think we can move on with the next set of questions.
I have my hand up.
Okay, great.
Can I go?
Yes, you can.
All right. Yeah, I can't view the application. I'm not on the safety committee. I'm on the board. My name's Teresa. Hi. I just wondering about the hours, and is this a residential building? Are there people living above the potential site, and what your hours would be?
Okay, yes, it is a mixed-use building. That is correct. It's also right next to the subway station. The hours of operation is 6 a.m. to 10 p.m., Monday to Thursday, Friday to Saturday, 6 a.m. to 10 p.m., Sunday, 8 a.m. to 9 p.m.
All right, that's great. Thank you. That's very
You're very
reasonable.
welcome, ma'am. Mhm.
Are there any more questions?
Javi?
You're on mute.
Can't hear you.
Yeah, hi everyone. I just have a question. Is Golden Crust a franchise?
Yes, ma'am. That is correct.
So do other franchises sell alcohol?
Yes. Not a whole lot, but yes, there is.
Okay, so now if there would be a party or any kind of activity during the week, the party would end before 10 so that you could close at 10, that's correct?
That would be correct.
Mm-hmm. And what kind of a mixed building did you say that it actually is, this mixed building? The residences live upstairs? How many apartments are upstairs?
So it's, I think, I'm not the owner of the building, I'm just representing the applicant, but I think there's like 5 floors up, above the building. I don't know how many apartments, sorry.
So would it be fair to say, like, if there was music downstairs and someone had any children or anything upstairs, that at like 9:30, 9:45, they would be able to hear the music upstairs in the residences upstairs?
I don't think so, because it's not gonna be a loud music, it's gonna be pretty soft music. I couldn't answer that question in terms of, if it's not gonna be, to my knowledge, it's not gonna be loud music.
But in essence, anyone can rent that space for a small party, a birthday party, or, anything of any, kind, as long as it's gonna be about, what's the maximum amount of people that what's the maximum?
74.
occupancy? 34?
74,
74?
correct.
74.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
not sitting, but standing.
So if it would be dancing or cocktail tables, 50 people would be able to easily fit there, or something like that.
Correct.
Uh-huh. So every night except Sunday night is till 10, and then Sunday night is till 9?
Yes, 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. and Sunday 8 a.m. to 9 p.m.
6 a.m. The restaurant opens up at 6 a.m.?
Well, yes, because they serve breakfast. It's a Golden
Right.
Cross. They're right next to the, like, one store away from the subway. So they catch the morning crowds.
Uh-huh.
People
hear.
going to the subway. So that's why it's an early close, because, if you open from 6 a.m., you don't want to be there till 12 midnight, that's a long
Right.
hour.
Right. It's a very long
Trust me,
day.
it's a small space, and it's, the landlord offered the owner for Golden Cross the space because I guess he's been there for 23 years. And, so he decided to take it, and,
Right.
yeah, that would be the purpose of, using it.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thanks for
You're
your.
you're very welcome.
Are there any more questions?
Zhang has his hand up.
Okay, great.
I'm sorry, what was that question?
Good evening, Ms. Prasad. The question that I have, I looked at another application for a liquor license, and in the application that I seen, it had the actual petition to sign by the actual members of the community in the actual building where the establishment would be. Now, because your establishment is being used inside of a mixed-use building, how many of the signatures came from residents of that actual building? Because per the paper that I seen it had up to a 2-block radius. I want to make sure that the actual residents within the mixed-use building had a opportunity to sign or disagree.
So, yes, you are correct when you said that the community petition says within a 2-block radius. I couldn't tell you how many people from the building, because I think the owner was just going with what was required by the community board, but the people in the building were informed by word of mouth of the proposed liquor license application. And I'm looking at the petition here. It says should be residents within 2 blocks area. So I couldn't give you a correct answer as to how many people, because I don't know. But they were informed by word of mouth.
All right, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you for all of your questions. Are there any more questions? Mia, I think we have quorum now, so do you think that we should maybe I guess like move this to like the later part of like the meeting and the board can like vote, or do you think-
Yeah, essentially you can take the vote on the applications now if you see fit to do so. You would
Okay.
just have to bring the motion forward.
Okay, so I bring the motion forward and I move to recommend this application for approval. Is there a second?
Kyrie Aline, I second the motion.
I also vote to approve.
And all members would have to unmute themselves and speak in favor or in opposition.
Yes, I approve. I approve. Zlati Muchkin, I approve.
Is the
I
applicant,
approve.
is the applicant still on the, on with us?
Yes.
So when we take votes, usually whoever is asking for approval stays with us as we vote?
It depends on when the vote is held. If the vote is held later to the end of the meeting, sometimes they do not stay. If they've satisfied all of the committee's questions, they're just notified the next morning by the district office. Okay, I have a recorded vote for Zlati. Do I have a vote for Zhang? Did you vote in favor for the applicants?
That is correct, ma'am.
Understood. I believe Yishro Lara is on the line. Mr. Lara, may I have your vote for the record?
Yes, I approve.
Thank you. Carmen Martinez?
Yes, I approve.
Thank you. Javi?
I'm gonna abstain.
Abstain. Who else are we? Kyrie, you said Kyrie, Mr. your
Kyrie,
vote?
yes, I'm here.
Understood. Did I miss any other committee member? Looks like the motion carries, so I'll notify the applicants in the morning.
Okay. Thank
Thank you.
And for the representative, thank you for being here. You can now drop off now if you would like. If you would like to just, remain and listen to our board meeting, you can also do that as well too. But thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, great. So we're gonna move on to the next agenda item, which is just like a discussion around secretary / note taker. I think that it will be most helpful for someone to be able to like capture all of the great things that we are discussing. We could potentially have like a designated secretary for the board, or we can have 2 members volunteer and each individual can capture like notes on a rotating basis. So is anyone interested?
I would like to volunteer to be secretary.
Awesome. Oh, that's great. So Mia, would we need to vote on this? And I'm sorry, I'm asking so many questions. I am so new to this, but would we have to vote on this?
Definitely not a vote. Zhang can definitely volunteer to
Okay, great.
maintain.
Perfect. Okay, great.
I just asked to give me 2 minutes to get a pen, which I already have in my hand right now, and I just need a notebook for me to make sure I'm taking meticulous notes.
Yes, of course. And thank you so much for volunteering to be secretary. This will be extremely helpful for us going forward. So appreciate that.
I will not let you guys down.
So am I good to move forward? Anyone
I just have one request. As secretary, I just need you to DM me your email address, because after every meeting I'll go ahead and forward you the notes that I have.
Okay, great. Yeah, can definitely do that. Awesome. Okay, great. So I think that we can move forward with our next agenda item, which is external committee communications. So how does everyone feel about creating an external line of communication outside of our committee meetings, just in case we need to communicate on any event planning stuff or anything that may come up that needs to be presented in the board, to the committee, sorry, but in a not so formal way. I know that there are a lot of committees that use like WhatsApp, but Slack can also be something that we could like potentially use. But I just sort of wanted to bring this to the board to see how everyone feels about it, if anyone's like comfortable with it, and just to like gather some thoughts. Sure. Yep.
I'm comfortable
You
with
can
it.
go ahead, Zing.
I talk to everybody.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear that, Rod. I think you're muted.
I was saying I'm comfortable with it. I mean, I speak to everybody.
Okay, awesome. What about everyone
I,
else?
I think it sounds great. I'd love it. Sounds great.
I think it would be a great idea because it allows every individual to not only be locked to these meetings as well, but to be able to have a free line of communication as they encounter certain things throughout the week.
I absolutely agree. And also too, you know, like you mentioned, there's so many things that come up during the week. And it'll be great way to just share resources, you know, like really fast with you all as they come in, as opposed to like waiting for a committee meeting like once a month to like be able to have that discussion. Are there any preferences on WhatsApp versus Slack? I believe WhatsApp is probably more accessible, but I just wanted to just get, you know, gather some thoughts on that.
Yeah, WhatsApp is best.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Okay, great.
So do I.
Awesome. Okay, great. And, oh, Mia, I noticed that the other applicants are back. Should we pause and then maybe do the vote before moving forward with the other agenda items that we have? Oh, they just popped off, actually. I think they just left. Are they here? I think I just saw them.
Yeah, yeah, they are.
Okay, great. So I think that maybe we should like revisit this, just because applicants are back. Would that be okay to do?
Sure, you just need a motion on the floor to approve the application.
Sure.
Okay, bring in the motion to the floor. Sorry, 1 second. I move to recommend this application for approval to the SLA. Is there a second?
I second.
And just for the record, which business is this?
This is for the green room. So this is the first application that presented to us in the beginning.
I'm for it, yes. I vote yay.
Kyrie?
Yes.
So right now we're, are you voting to
Oh, yeah,
approve this application?
I'm voting to approve it, to amend, but I thought that we were just seconding, someone just seconded it. I didn't know if we we're voting to see if everyone says aye yet. But I'm in favor for
Great,
the green
thanks.
room application.
See Carmen?
Yes, I approve.
Did I get everyone?
I approve.
Yeah. Zlati and Yisrael.
I approve. I approve.
Okay.
Yes, I approve. I approve.
I approve.
Awesome. I think that is everyone, Mia.
Yep, motion carries.
Great
So
to-
the application move
Thank you.
forward.
Awesome. So thank you for coming and presenting your application to the board. Mia will be in touch with you all in the morning.
All right.
Thank you so much for the
guys.
time.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Take care.
You take care.
Okay. All right, so I think that we can move on to our next agenda item. And for some of the board members that weren't able to make it to the first committee meeting we had, we did a lot of discussion around potential events and engagements that we would like to have for the year. I think it's important for us as a board to just have a little bit more of visibility, especially when it comes to like the community. And that means like hosting more, community-wide events. One of the events that was held last year was a fire safety event that was held at Tivoli. I heard it was a great turnout. I wasn't able to make it, but we would like to potentially do something like that again for this year before the year is out, especially as like the weather is starting to change. And then for in 2024, we're hoping to do an event that basically engages with the 71st precinct. We did a little bit of brainstorming in our last committee meeting regarding like what that could potentially look like, but it's something that I wanted us to revisit just because we have the full board here now. So I think in regards to planning for the fire safety event, last year it was held at Tivoli, but there are also other, apartment complexes in the area. Like there's Ebbets, there's Harry Silver. So I just wanted to get you all's, thoughts on that. Is that something that you would like to see happen again? Would you like would you like to see it happen at the same location or maybe a new location? So yeah, maybe we can discuss that.
I think it's a good idea. I'm not a committee member, of course, now, but I think it'd be great for you guys to have a similar event on the opposite side of the district, just so that, there's some visibility. Perhaps Harry Silver, that would be a great location, just so that we can show up on that side of town.
Thanks, Mia.
Yeah.
Anyone else has any thoughts? Oh, Zeg, your hand is up. Yep.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry, Ms. Basil Charles. Can you please repeat what this event is for?
Yeah,
You-
so yeah, of course. So this event happened last year. I was not chair last year. Primo Lozano was chair last year, but they held a fire safety event in collaboration with the FDNY. I think they're like their community affairs team. Yeah, is that correct? It's like their community affairs or something. But they had an event in collaboration with FDNY, and it was just to like share some tips on like, being safe, especially like as we're getting into the winter, and people are using heaters and things of that sort. I believe they were sharing like informational like sheets on just being safe, and it was also an opportunity for the FDNY to engage with the community. So that was like the main purpose of the event that took place last year.
I mean, in my opinion, that could never hurt.
No, they're all good things. I was responsible for a couple of those events, in my prior life and whatnot with the fire department, utilities, OEM, and just to let the public know how to report things, how to identify things, and also just overall safety within the household. So it can go a long way. And if you were able to attach to that any type of health screenings, free health screenings for individuals, that would even work better.
Yeah, I think it sounds like a very good idea. Safety is always important. I can't see why that wouldn't be a really nice idea to present to the community. There's always a few mistakes that happen every year, and maybe this year we can prevent them.
Mm-hmm.
And you propose that this be done at the Harry Silver building, apartments, co-ops?
Yeah, so this is why I wanted to bring it to the board, just to see if just just in collaboration with everyone, right? Would we like to see it happen, at a different location this year? Last year was held at Tivoli. It would be nice to have it somewhere else this year, as Mia mentioned, for like visibility, right? So yeah, I just want to hear you all's thoughts on that. I don't know if there's any other apartment complexes that maybe you think would benefit from this. Regina, I see you have your hands up.
Sorry, I'm walking home. But I would think, I'm not sure where Harry's is. Try to get some light. I'm not sure where Harry's is, but I think it would be nice to choose or obviously depending upon capability, a different part of CB9 just to make sure it truly is accessible. Sounds great to me.
Yeah, so Harry is actually, it's not too far from me. It's
Schenectady and Rutland, I believe.
Yeah, it's near Schenectady and Rutland, and I think, is that Maple or Midwood? I think it's
It's
Midwood.
across the street. It's across the
Mhm.
street from the church on the corner.
Yes,
783
yes.
Rutland.
That is correct. And that is literally that's the other side of the board. I would say that the cutoff probably for the board is closer to that side. So I would say these parts don't usually get too much visibility. So it would be nice.
Oh,
if it
that's
can be
by me. Sorry, I didn't even know the name of the co-op. So thank you.
Yeah. Rod, I see you have your hand up.
Yeah, so one other suggestion, if you're worried about space and sizing and whatnot, even consider Boys High Field. Right, that has ample space for everybody, restrooms, if anybody has to use a restroom. So that it can be a consideration as well.
Yeah, that's a great recommendation. And I guess with it potentially being held somewhere like that, we would have like ample space, right, to invite as many folks as possible. Yeah, so that's a great recommendation. Anyone else have any suggestions? So I think it's safe to say that the board is comfortable with having an event like this again for this year, as we know it would benefit many individuals in the community. And I want to open up this time for us to also talk about what are some other like potential events that we could maybe plan out for the year. Just because I think that for us as a committee, it's important for us to have visibility, especially when it comes to public safety. So can anyone think of any ideas that they may have when it comes to, any community-based events? Yep, Regina.
I would say, I think many of us have seen some changes. So I think something, and maybe this is something that's already flagged, but with potentially the police department, the importance of doing tickets, filing reports, all the different nuances that actually help quantify the things that are going on in the neighborhood so that changes can happen, but some sort of thing that's informing and helping. I was thinking, I don't want to say hand-to-hand combat, that's a little extreme, but like something of that safety measures, but really honestly, reporting is very important and how it impacts the community. So even an informative set or information session on how each citizen doing their due diligence of reporting certain things helps the overall community and getting the support, the right amount of policing or whatever have you. But if things go unreported, how do you actually quantify getting additional support? So that's all.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And I think that's one of the things that we brought up too in our last committee meeting, that we want I believe there should be more engagement between the 71st precinct, right, and the residents that are living within CB9. And also too, just more engagement with them coming into our committee meetings and just having visibility and us knowing who they are. So thank you for sharing that. Carmen, I see you have your hand up. You can go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to comment. Well, anyway, one of my suggestions, as someone that works a lot with seniors, is perhaps doing something on fraud uh, prevention, identity theft, and things of that nature, because nowadays it seems to be very prevalent. Every time you turn on the news, or I know as we go through other communities, we hear about not just seniors, people in general, getting scammed one way or the other. So if we're talking about doing the fire department, and something with the police department, if the fire department is going to do fire safety, maybe you might have the police do crime prevention. And as someone that is like a dinosaur community board 9, I know that in previous years, the fire department and the precinct were always invited to the public safety committee meetings to give report on what's happening in terms of crime in the community. So I don't know if they've been invited, but that had been the thing they were always included in the agenda to give updates on the community happenings.
Yeah, so that is something that we're currently trying to work on. During the last committee meeting that we mentioned that we should have the officers coming into the public safety meetings and just giving us a rundown of what's going on in the neighborhood and the crime stats. And Mia did send out the what is it called? The CompStat report. But I believe it comes out on like a monthly basis. But the goal is to have the officers come into the meetings and be able to report that out to us, by them, just because obviously, the way in which they're able to like navigate through like what's happening in the area might be very differently from us reporting it out. So thank you for sharing that. I'm not too sure where we are right now in terms of Mia, do we have, I guess, like an officer from the 71st, I guess, who is like sort of designated to work with the board? I think that might be helpful, like in identifying.
It alternates based on availability. It's usually Sergeant Barada or Officer Connors.
Okay.
So I'll touch base with Dante tomorrow to see exactly what can be done to make sure we solidify some attendance here moving forward.
Awesome. And do you think there is a possibility to like also connect me to those officers as well too?
Yeah, I'm gonna make sure that Dante loops you in on the correspondence just so that you guys can make proper introductions.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
I'm sorry. You said Sergeant Beretta and Officer Connor?
Barada, B-A-R-R-A, oh, excuse me, B-A-R-A-T-T-A, Barada, and Officer Connors.
Connors?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thanks, Ann.
Yes.
Awesome. Cheryl, I see you have your hand up.
Yes, hi, good night. I was, Regina and Miss Carmen said what I was basically gonna say. I used to work for the police department, so I think having an opening up and encouraging each neighborhood to also start a Block Watcher program. Block Watcher program is a program where they would have a direct contact with community affairs officers, but now they have the NCOs, and P.O. Trim is our NCO, neighborhood community officer. So each community affairs, just get in contact with community affairs, which Beretta works for, and definitely establish a connection with him. Officer Trim is also for our neighborhood. But encouraging and teaching neighborhoods how to incorporate and restart a Block Watcher program is also a very good program to start for the community. And also teaching them, as Carmen said, teaching the elderly. There's so many scams going on. Teaching the elderly and people that are by themselves what to look out for in a scam, how to report it, and how to be diligent in who they give their information out to. So thank you, Regina and Carmen.
Thank you for sharing that. Something just came to mind. I know the Brooklyn DA's office, they usually do a lot of like seminars regarding fraud when it comes to seniors. Do we have a contact at the Brooklyn DA's office, Mia?
We surely do. I could definitely get you in, put you in contact with Ms. Crawford.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, that would be great.
Sure thing.
Regina, I see you have another question.
Our idea, almost home. Sorry, apologies for the noise. Just a thought in terms of engagement is, especially with Rod's suggestion around the high school and the area. And I'm on the Economic Development Committee as a resident. And I'm wondering if there's an opportunity to really have a real engagement effort that could potentially invite businesses and really make it a community involvement affair. So people have many reasons to come and participate and listen and hear about the things that are going on, and really just drive up that community engagement. So just a suggestion.
That's a great suggestion. And I believe, so Mia, I know the board usually has their, the board usually has like a community fair that takes place in the summertime. And it took place, when did it happen? I believe it was before June. Is that correct, Mia?
It was the second Saturday in June, I believe.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, there were many vendors there. A lot, well, the thing is, and this is why I feel like it's important for like us as committees to just like show up and support when the board is having. Oh, sorry. Were you going to say something? Oh.
Sorry, me?
Oh no, I thought somebody said something just now. So
Oh, okay, no, I'm good. I'm all set.
Okay. Yeah, so I was going to say that, when the board is having, community fairs, it's important for like board members, community resident members, committees, to show up and really like advocate for the areas in which you're working within, right? Because the community, they come out and they ask so many questions regarding like what's really happening in the area. And I think that having that visibility is important. So I think that when the board decides to have their next community affair, maybe that's happening in the summertime, I would encourage us all to really like come out and show up, and just engage with the community. Sure, I think you have another question.
Yes, I do. Thank you so much, Janelle. Whenever you do have these functions, I suggest to include a Sunday. I am a Sabbath observer. I do not attend or cannot attend anything on a Saturday, and everything is on Saturday. Sometimes have things on a Sunday as well, please.
Thank you for sharing that. Zhang, yep.
Yes, thank you. To reiterate what Mrs. Bernard is saying, part of the Community Board 9 demographics also has a large Jewish population. If we are to truly engage the entire community along with the demographics, we have to be mindful that many of them will not be participating because of their respective Sabbaths. So Friday and Saturday should be pretty much always recognized as days where we won't get full engagement from the true communities due to the Jews, due to the 7-day Adventists, and whoever's observing their respective Sabbaths on those 2 days. So just please be cognizant.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. A lot of time the turnout is not what it could be if it was on a day when the entire community would be able to attend.
I definitely agreed. And maybe that's something we can, bring to the district office. Yeah. Are there any other thoughts or questions or suggestions? If not, I think this was a great discussion, and I'm looking forward to us just like deep diving this even more in our next committee meeting. And even, you know, once we start with our outside communications, this is something that we could even further like discuss in like WhatsApp, just so that like we can really like get a move on like these events and figuring out what we're going to be doing for the year. So thank you all. The next agenda item, and we're actually looking really good on time. The next agenda item is the cannabis dispensary license discussion. So the Public Safety Committee will be responsible for reviewing cannabis dispensary license sent to the board. This is a very new process, and it's something that has never been done before. So we are still actively trying to figure this out. OCM, which is the Office of Cannabis Management, they had an adult use application information session in Brooklyn this week. I'm not sure if any of you were able to attend, but the district office did send out an email regarding it. However, the process would be very similar to how we review SLA applications. Essentially, the business owner would submit their application to the board, and they would present to the committee, and then we would vote to either approve or not approve their application, be recommended to be approved. So the questionnaire, there was a questionnaire that was sent out with the meeting reminder. I am not sure if anyone was able to review it. However, I really encourage you all to take a look at it when you have the chance. You know, as I mentioned, this is a very new process, so I may not be able to answer all of your questions right now about the process, but I can take that back to the district office, and I will, you know, try to find a way to get an answer for you. But does anyone have any questions or concerns or anything anyone wants to discuss regarding us taking on this new thing? And Teresa, I
So
see you.
before you continue, Ms. Prasad, can you please put your phone or your computer on mute? We're getting feedback from you.
Sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Teresa, I see you have your hand up.
Oh, hi. Yeah, I did go to the OCM meetings. I went to both of them actually. There was one right before this meeting and there was one in the afternoon. We got the notice so late, I wasn't able to go to the entire meeting. I just went to the end, and there were so many questions from other community boards, and honestly, it was slightly alarming. And I came to the safety committee meeting tonight because I thought there would be applications already. The some of the other community boards that were at that meeting were reporting they're getting as much as 60 applications. So I thought we might be getting them. So if they're getting 60, I just wonder why here in Brooklyn we would have 0. And the application process is different. It's a little bit like the SLA, but there's quite a bit of difference in the application process. And I would recommend that everybody on the this committee become familiar with it, and that you if we're going to have that many applications, and there's a community board too that has assisted me with the 5G issue that I was having, and I noticed that they or one of the boards that spoke out at the OCM meeting, they are preparing like a document for all the questions that they have regarding the licenses that are coming forward, because it's going to be a very short time period, 30 days. There's some way you can extend it to 60 days, but it's new and it's going to happen really fast. So I just think safety committee needs to prepare for what's going to happen, because it sounds like a magnanimous task if you're getting that many applications, and some of them are also receiving like oddities. Say one address will or one block will apply for like 3 applications at once, and they're having to review them all. So I just wanted to get you guys, get everybody prepared and try to attend those meetings, and look at the documentation, because it's a lot coming down. I just wanted to prepare myself and let everybody know. So be on the lookout. I don't know how those applications come to us either. So if maybe Mia could explain it.
We receive a
you.
30-day notice the
Yeah,
same
hi.
way that we receive the 30-day notice for SLA application. So that same 30-day notice to local municipality, that's what we received. And so far, we've received 2 applications, so nowhere next to 60, and they came in too close to the committee date, and it would not give the applicant sufficient time to complete it and provide it with the documentation that would need to be reviewed by the committee and have them prepared to vote this evening. So nowhere.
How many
60,
applications?
2.
Okay.
So I don't want a frenzy created. There's not of cannabis licenses waiting to be infused into and influx into the community. So there are of 2. And we're going to make sure before any voting takes place that the committee has provided sufficient documentation so that first they understand the community board's place in the process of this person obtaining an application and what information they should be looking for that the applicant should be supplying so that we can figure out their optimal candidate and if they're on track to make a sufficient requirement to satisfy a sufficient requirements, but to OCM. So that information will be provided to the community. We submitted some information as we received it from OCM directly to board members. So you should be in receipt of much of that documentation that we received late spring. So we will definitely recirculate it to the board membership. So because of course, once it leaves committee, it has to go to a 50-person body who should be on the same page with understanding the layout of the application process as well.
Thank you, Mia. Zhang, you had your hand up. Do you still want to ask your question?
No, yes, ma'am. I did have my hand up, but I lowered it because Ms. Hilton answered my question. What I pretty much want to gather is if it would be possible for us to get the templates of the applications so we can educate ourselves in the meantime. So when we are presented, like these actual situations, it's not like completely foreign to us. But Ms. Hilton answered the question.
Awesome. Thank you. Bobby, you can go ahead and ask your question. I think your hand was up.
Yeah, actually, it was pretty much answered also. I do know that Ms. Muchkin did come into some of these meetings and she did give me some information about it. It seems like it's somewhat complicated, but not overwhelmingly complicated. Once we'll have all that, once we have like a checklist of things that we know the requirements that are, and it's always a good idea to just have a checklist that we can go through and make sure that they're being covered with each applicant. This is not an unexpected thing. We know that this has been something coming for quite some time. And like with the liquor licenses, we just have to make sure it's they're being responsible and living up to whatever requirements are necessary. But as was already said, like if we have like a checklist of specific requirements, it always helps for when we'll be coming into having an applicant to know, what they are required to have taken care of.
Yeah, and the district office sends out a lot of resources regarding this. So I encourage you all, if there's an info session that's just going to help your understanding of this process and of what's going on, I definitely encourage you all to attend. I also encourage you all to just get familiar with the questionnaire that was sent out. I believe it was sent out twice now. It was sent out in the reminder, and then Dante also sent out an email with the questionnaire, I think sometime early this week. So definitely just get familiar with it, look over the questions, because these are what the applicants are going to be filling out. Israel, you can go ahead. I see you have your hand up.
Yeah, hi. I was wondering if anybody knows if there's gonna be another OCM meeting, because the last one that they did notify us like a few hours before, and I didn't see the email in time.
Maybe it was taped. I tuned in at 10:30. It was from 10 to 11:30. I got about an hour of it, and then it said there was gonna be one today also. But maybe it was taped and you could watch it because he was very informative and it was a very good session.
Okay, so I'll check that out. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Also, what is the general consensus of this committee in regards to having cannabis dispensaries in our community?
That's a good question.
I feel like maybe we could discuss it now before it becomes an issue where we're actually discussing approving one specifically. Because I feel that we shouldn't rush to it. And as much as there's a lot of talk about it, as a parent, I don't feel that we should be approving these dispensaries so quickly, because maybe we shouldn't be the first community in Brooklyn to be having these dispensaries all around.
That was a motion. I would second it.
All right, I'm glad to hear that someone has the same thought process as me. I think I've known from other states that there's a lot of cities where, even though New Jersey just passed it as well, and there's a lot of cities which choose to wait because there's no rush to approve them now, and they can wait a year, and it's not gonna make much of a difference. And I don't know. I just feel like if people are using it, then they're finding a way to use it, and I think that to increase the ways for younger kids to be able to get it, even though it's officially age restricted. But there's always someone who knows someone who can get it, and I think it's pretty harmful.
Yeah, I would say that, this is a really new process, and Mia, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they already started reviewing these applications in some community boards in Manhattan. I'm not too sure if many in Brooklyn has started doing this, but we all know there's so much controversy, right, around this, and definitely not something that I think we should be rushing into.
Yeah, OCM.
of-
I'm going to recirculate the OCM documentation, but OCM also made it very clear that a no here does not hinder an applicant. Just because of the host of requirements that they are putting on the applicant to meet at a specific threshold to be licensed.
I'm sorry, Ms. Hilton. You said a no here doesn't hinder what doesn't hinder applicant? I didn't hear you.
Similar to the SLA, a no from the community board does not necessarily hinder the applicant at the state level.
Understood.
OCM could continue to review the applicant and feel that they've gone through the satisfied all of the requirements that it takes to maintain and hold the license. Once I circulate the documentation to you, you guys will get a better sense of what the basic fundamentals it takes to obtain a license and maintain it in the legal setting in which these items are supposed to be sold, and not some of the illegal operations that we see popping up around our district, where it's kind of fast and go.
Yeah, that's why they want to move it through quickly, is because of the illegal shops, and also the benefits for the community from the money made from the cannabis shops are supposed to go back to the community in which you're selling, and those are supposed to be quite a lot, expensive.
I see Zoom user. Can you please identify yourself? Sorry. Do you have your hand up? Okay, never mind. Regina, see you have your hand up.
Hello again, and I'm at home. So, all right. So just on this cannabis thing, I mean, granted, I'm not a user, but I know from California, I knew someone who actually owned a business. I'm wondering if, because this thing kind of came around relatively new to our state. If it's relevant, and I don't know how possible to invite people who've actually owned, run, lived by long-standing facilities such as this, because yeah, to Tara's point, yes, there is revenue, but there's benefits to actually having an official store, although if you want something, you can still go around. But the level of what this guy, I can't recall, it's for a few years, but like security, the way he has to manage cash and all the different nuances, it is important to take time and understand like the full scope. Granted, my other question, since Mia added this, is if a no has no real impact here, where does it have impact? Just curious off of that standpoint. Thank you.
Sure thing. Great question, Regina. We usually, the issue for a lot of folks is that we've seen, if you're essentially running an illegal shop, you can't decide to turn legal tomorrow. So that's why we've really, when you see an illegal shop, report it so that the location is on file for being an illegal operation. Should they ever get the bright idea that they want to be on the up and up one day, it can be noted as a location that was operating illegally. So that's where our voice matters, where we're getting things on the record and locations on the record. Because, a lot of these operations open up just when, people heard legal and, fast and hard. All of these shops just popped up on Flatbush and randomly on Rogers. But, now that people figured out that there's a real economy to this and they want to make clean money, they want to apply now that the process has been expanded past the justice involved. So I encourage anyone on this call or anyone who has a parent that's concerned about the sale of these illegal things. I'll circulate the enforcement number for OCM to the community and pass it out so that these locations are noted for illegal operations so they can't move forward legally in the future.
Sorry, can I ask a clarifying question?
Sure.
Sorry. So how, I guess to just understand, you said a no vote here doesn't really have the impact. So I'm trying to understand, where do they apply and get the okay, just for understanding? So obviously there's like concerns. Everybody has concerns. So just wondering where to show up or follow up or whatever have you.
A more thorough review process at the state level, because of course, community boards are encompassed of many different ideologies and point of views. And that will be weighed against whether someone satisfied the process and if they adhere to the legal ramifications of the application versus people's personal feelings. It's an objective view of the application and not a personal one.
Could you go over the stars for the user that might be on a telephone? To unmute and mute and raise their hand.
I think some people have questions. Carmen?
Yeah, I really don't have a question, and Mia kind of touched on what I wanted to discuss, because I think the main concern that we need to concentrate on is this illegal shops. 2 legal application versus the hundreds that are popping up on a daily basis next to school, next to elected officials, next to community boards. I mean, they are popping up everywhere as convenience stores. So kids go in there to buy candy. Well, most of the stuff they have is packaged like candy. So you don't even know. So I think our effort is best trying to track all of these illegal shops, report them, and try to get something done about them versus the people that are trying to go through the legal channel, who will be financially responsible to the agencies. In terms of the licenses, as with the liquor license, the board can vote, and this has happened, and Mia can back me up. The board has testified against liquor licenses for some establishments that are still standing in the community. They have voted no. And as was explained to us by SLA, most of the time they disregard the the community board vote, because when the applicant goes to court, the court tends to side with the applicants anyway, and give them, issue them the license. So the board's vote does not carry the amount of weight that you might think it does. That because you vote, you vote no, the license is not going to come. We can tell you establishments in the community that the board was dead set against it. Testify, the chair at the time went to hear and testify. Community signed petition. There was hundreds of signatures against an establishment on Franklin Avenue, and it's there. They got the license anyway. So I just wanted to say that we should concentrate our effort on identifying all of these illegal shops and reporting them, to try to do something about this. They popping up every day. You see stores closing. I know there was a buffet shop on Flatbush where I used to go get my salad. Now guess what it is? It is a cannabis shop. It went from food to cannabis. And it's happening every day. And they're not legal. They are not legal. None of them that you see are legal because there have been no licenses issued yet.
Thank you, Carmen. Zoom user, I see you have your hand up. Can you please identify yourself?
Good evening. My name is Michelle.
Excuse me,
Thank
this
you,
is
Janelle.
Maxine. I'm on the phone. How do I raise my hand? I had an emergency and couldn't go online. How do I raise my hand? I'm on the phone.
I am not sure.
Hello?
Actually,
Hi,
so
Ms. Barnes, I believe it is star 9 to raise your hand.
Star and what, Mia?
Star 9.
Touch the top of your screen, and then the bottom of your screen is going to show reactions. And if you touch the reactions, it will show you raise hands.
No. I'm on the phone. Mia, I didn't hear you. You were interrupted. How do I raise my hand, or can I ask my question now?
Star 9, Ms. Barnes, and we'll call on you.
Star 9. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
If I
go ahead.
may,
So sorry about
I actually don't have I actually have a question, but I also have a testimony because I'm one of the residents that has extreme concerns as the legalization of marijuana came about. The usage has pretty much skyrocketed. And my concerns now with all of these establishments, and they're getting their liquor license, and now we're having all these places selling marijuana. And so the other day I actually had some youngsters on my stoop crushing marijuana buds and smoking their weed on my property. And so I have concerns about these establishments that are providing the marijuana. What are going to be their hours of, what are their hours of operation? What can we do about the regulation of the number of these places that are distilleries that are offering marijuana in the neighborhood? Like, is there a set number? Can that number be reduced? How can there be some kind of regulatory body that'll kind of limit, because it's already so much out of control? Just it is occupying this new generation's entire being. And I personally, for one, no offense to anyone, but I personally don't want it around me in my neighborhood. I don't want to walk around the corner and there's at least 3, 4, 5 different, you can get weed, marijuana, alcohol at every stop. And that's just, by history, that's just chosen to bring down the neighborhood. That is not in every neighborhood, where they have all of these distilleries all over the place, all of these places selling alcohol. So that's just my concern.
thank you for sharing that your concern. Mia, I'm not too sure if you have a response to that, but I do just want to say we want to keep our questions just in scope, right? Of, we don't want to get outside too much of, and it's important for us to share obviously like our personal stories when it comes to this, but we don't want to get too much outside of the scope of what we're discussing, just because we want to obviously give everyone, we want to respect everyone's time firstly, and we want to give everyone the opportunity to speak. So thank you for sharing that. I also see we have another individual.
I didn't hear, I'm so sorry. I didn't hear your answer regarding the hours of operation of I didn't recognize that as being outside of the scope. My specific concern and question was, what are going to be the hours of operation with these distilleries as they are applying for licensing? Is that something that we don't address here? I'm just
I think
curious.
Mia's gonna have a response for you right now.
So there are no hours to set or review at the moment. We don't have any hours. Any shops that you currently see now are illegal and outside of the scope of OCM. So the board has not approved or reviewed any applications. Thank you.
Ms. Barnes?
Yes, good evening, community. I'm sorry that I came in late, but I did hear Carmen, and I would like to piggyback on that comment, in that our concern right now is exactly that, the illegal shops. Obviously, this plan was made and agreed to without a plan. They rolled it out, and we're in a crisis. I sent an email to both Community Board 9, to all of the elected officials, Rita Joseph, to the Office of Cannabis Management, to the sheriff, you name them, whomever I could secure an email to, I sent, and specifically noted the three that are there. We are in a crisis on Nostrand Avenue between Empire Boulevard and up to St. Francis of Assisi School. I watch, and my community and my neighbors horrified, witnessing our children going from a middle school, MS 61 in St. Francis of Assisi, inside of these illegal spots. And it is, again, a crisis. So to be specific, I don't want to waste anybody's time, and I'm going to try to make it short. My question is, what can we do as a board? What are our options to immediately shut down the illegal cannabis shops that I cited? To both my community board and elected officials, went to the city council and supported Rita Joseph when she brought it on the floor. What can we as a board and a community do to immediately close these shops within feet of St. Francis of Assisi School and MS 61? Please, someone answer my question. Thank you. Hello?
I could try to answer it.
Ms. Barnes,
I
I don't
went
have
to
an
the-
answer for, I'm sorry, I don't have an answer for you, Ms. Barnes, but if you want to go down to the sheriff's office and hand in hand.
I'm not
and make the
going to any
complaint-
sheriff's office. As I said, I sent an email to my community board and to the elect. My question is simply, is there any action that we could take to get those three illegal shops that we witnessed selling to our children going in there, shut down immediately? I will give an example, an analogy. When our city administration, when it was across from City Hall, in front of City Hall, Eric shut it down. They opened it back up the next day, and he shut it down again, and it's not been open again since. Could we take that avenue? Is something we can do to shut them down on Nostrand Avenue? I'm not going in the sheriff's office. I don't get paid for that. I elect my elected officials, and I contribute to my community board, and expect the leaders of my community to use their resources to do it.
Full disclosure, Ms. Barnes, I'm just a visitor here. I agree with you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I thought you
No,
was
it's
one of the
okay.
board
Listen,
members.
no, a spirited conversation is good. I'm just here saying that I support what you are saying, right? And I am offering myself to go down to the sheriff's office, bang on his or her desk, and whatever it is. Do I have a solution? The answer is no. Do I agree with you? The answer is yes.
Hi, good evening, Ms. Barnes. You have reached out to the office, but this is a conversation where we need to bring in our state senator, Zelnor Myrie, as his door is 2 steps before St. Francis of Assisi, and our assemblyman, Mr. Cunningham. This is a conversation where it has to be multi-layer. In letters of support, we need we need the PTA from these respective schools stepping up. We need the principals stepping up to say this is a problem, and this is where their students are going after school on their way to transportation on their way home. It has to be a concerted effort. Your voice is important.
Well, let us concert it now. We have Rita Joseph support. Can I get you to agree to a letter of support from the community board to shut them down? And then we
Agreement.
reach out to the PT?
I can't make that agreement for
God,
you
it's
here
not
right
so in
now
shape.
on behalf of the chair, because that's something I have to consult with my district manager and the chair. But I'm sure that advocating for the children of the community is not going to be outside of anyone's scope of work here. But we definitely need the
Well,
principals
thank you.
stepping up, and we need our local electeds stepping up and providing letters, speaking out, and urging these PTAs to step up and reach out to the precinct, reach out to the electeds. I know that Medgar Evers Prep is having a public safety town hall because their PTA is quite upset that one of the highest performing schools in our district has a smoke shop across the street now.
Okay,
But
so
and
from tonight moving forward,
Miss Barnes,
from tonight moving forward,
let's connect in the morning.
can we agree that we're going to author and compose this a letter of support? Rita Joseph has already brought it to the floor of the council, and she will sign on. And can we then secure other signatures as some as a petition, if you will, a letter of support from the community board?
Ms. Barnes, I can definitely help you make the rounds, and we can reach out. You and I can connect tomorrow morning. I'll be in the office at 8 a.m. if you want, and we can
Thank you,
chat
Mia.
how to organize and move
I don't know
forward.
that I can come there, but I'll try. Thank you.
Stop in if you want. It's good. Or you can give me a call. Thanks.
I'll reach out to you in the morning. Thank you.
Not a problem.
Thank you. Regina?
Sorry, and this.
How do I unmute, guys? Star 6?
I'm not too
Yeah,
sure.
you should go over that for every meeting. Star
Can you-
6.
Oh, she figured it out. She got it. You got it.
I
Okay.
did it. Thank you.
Try it again. Oh, there you go. Because I don't know. To piggyback off of this, I guess it's more questions, and if no one has answers immediately, that's fine. But I'm wondering, like, and I guess we should be aware of this, like limits to the number of these sort of facilities. Obviously, if these are all illegal, then that's fair. But when they're up and coming, we should know how many, what's the minimal requirements, all the things with, you don't see like a liquor store every, few feet. There's limits. Real versus faux. I don't want to say faux, but like, hey, when I went to, full disclosure, I went to a cannabis forum. It was more like a business thing. It was just to inform about like trends and stuff like that were going on. And I even put hemp, right, in my soap, right? More so marketing. But I guess it's just like understanding, because some people are doing it under marketing. I have yet to walk into one of these shops, so I really don't. So forgive me on that. So it's just like sometimes when you hear cannabis, it's like the whole blanket statement. But I know for sure, like the guy that I was talking about, he for sure used it for how he got into it as medical reasons. Was it MS or something like that he had? So I think it's important to have a full understanding when the time comes, when they start coming around, that we really have the insights of whatever businesses start to pop up. But obviously this is down the line. But my question was, when we see the illegal shops, so one, what clearly declares it as illegal? Like maybe, because you see cannabis, but again, I'm, of like, what kind, I'm kind of clueless. As well as, are we contacting the police? Is it 311? Like, what's the full scope? Because I'm like, I'm happy to partner up and get some of the shenanigans out of here, because yeah, it does get some hanging outs and all that kind of stuff. I'm not sure what's what and which way to go and to support the removal of illegal businesses.
Hi, I believe I'm next.
And to add in zoning, is there zoning around this with the schools and stuff like that? Maybe that's in the future.
Okay. Hi, I went, because I went to the OCM meeting tonight. I'm going to recommend again, everybody look at that documentation. That I'm going to recommend that this board and this committee invite the OCM. They did offer to do that. That's the Operation Cannabis Management. They will come and speak to the board. And I'm recommending that we hold a town hall and advertise it widely so they can do a presentation so as soon as possible, so that we can invite people, advertise it widely, so people get an understanding of what's happening, how to put in an application, because people can apply right now. People understand what's going to happen and how the changes will affect them. So please do a town hall as soon as possible so everybody can have the information and know what's going on. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that, Teresa. And I think that's a really great idea, inviting the OCM. You know, these are all great questions that you all have, and why not get the answers directly from the source? So I'm more than happy to take the lead on that and seeing if the OCM could potentially come into like one of our public safety committee meetings in the future, just so that you all can get your questions answered. Mia, do you think that's something that could potentially happen?
Definitely, there is a team that makes the rounds. We had they came in last meeting session, and I bet they'd be willing to come back.
Awesome. And
Yeah,
if you can
they offered tonight. They offered that they come to any community board. They just have to be invited. So let's do that, please.
Are there any more thoughts or concerns before we adjourn our meeting? Just want to be respectful of everyone's time tonight. Abby, I see you have your hand up. Yep.
Yeah, hi. I just wanted to piggyback off of what was said before, that we were told that really the only our vote really doesn't that much matter because it's a state level. It decides whether these cannabis shops are going to open or not. But the only way that we can really make an impact is to note down these illegal cannabis operations right now. And I just want to know too, how do we go about doing that? How do we know what really constitutes a cannabis store? Like, that's really super important for us to know if we're really going to make any kind of impact on this issue. We need to really have direction of what exactly has to be done in order for us to actually have done our due diligence to inform about an illegal cannabis operation. So do you have information? Are you going to be finding out more information about that?
Yeah, we can. So I can take all of this back to the district office and me. I'm not sure if you have a response to this, but we can gather more information. I just want, you know, everyone to know that this is still a relatively new process. So we're still trying to like figure it out, right? So you may have some questions that you present to the board and we may not have the answers for you, but we'll get the answers, right? So I think it's important to give us all grace in this while we're trying to figure it out. Zhang, I see you have your hand up.
Yes, ma'am. Two things. I'm going to need someone to give me, whether it be you or Ms. Hilton, to give me an email address so I can type these notes up and email it to you, one of you ladies. And the other thing that I wanted to ask you is that at the beginning of the meeting you were talking about the external communication method, likely via WhatsApp. So what stages is that at now? What needs to get that ball rolling? And I'm just trying to get the ins and outs because I think that's actually explosive. I think that's revolutionary. And I think that's absolutely needed. I think that will set us apart from every other board. I think that would be something as far as a milestone and a trailblazing for other community boards and committees to follow. So I'm just trying to get more information on that.
Thank you for your questions. So the first thing is, I think that Mia can, I believe she can circulate all of our contact information after the meeting. I wouldn't advise us all to share our contact information over this meeting right now, just because this is being live streamed. And I don't think anyone would want like their personal, like, you know, contact information being shared live over Facebook. So Mia, would that be something that you'll be able to do share, I guess, like all of the emails of the committee members and community resident members with us all so that we can start working on like creating that WhatsApp group?
Sure thing. I definitely will. You guys should receive some correspondence tomorrow. And Zhang, I'm shooting you an email with Janelle CC so that you can reply all with the minutes.
Okay, well, just you're gonna have to give me like a hour or less, like 30 minutes to an hour to type everything up.
Sure
Yeah,
thing. You're good. Yeah, even if it's tomorrow or Monday, it's fine.
Thank you
Yes,
so
ma'am.
much. Cheryl, you have a question?
Yes, I do. Hello. A question. Now, when is new business? Or I don't even know if this is the platform that I would bring it to. Mia knows me because I've 30 emails, Mia, last year, a few years ago, trying to get a stop sign. Now I have the stop sign and the traffic light, but they are just going through the light like it's nothing. So this is definitely a public safety issue that I've saw people almost get hit again while crossing the street because how they have the stop sign is the traffic light is it's red for cars both direction, but it's white for people to cross. So as they're crossing, there will be someone that 4 or 5 cars down will just come out into the oncoming traffic that's stopped because it's a red light, and they'll just go around and just go right through. So I've saw so many people almost be struck by the same cars that were breathing through when there was no traffic light. So is this the forum that I would bring this to or not?
Yes, I believe this is the form that you would bring this to because that is a public safety issue. In terms of our next step as a board, I am not too sure how we would take that information and connect it to the right agency, but maybe Mia, if you can talk a little bit on that. I'm not too sure if that's a 311 complaint or
yeah, that would actually, we'd have to kick it back to the DOT because it sounds like the light is programmed similar to the one at Nostrand and Lefferts, where both at this it is red for both ways of traffic and walking signals at both crosswalks at the same time. It's called the Barnes dance. But when the other lights are in regular sync, it kind of throws off the traffic and people think something is actually wrong with the light.
No, these people are regulars. They run. It's habitual. People will go through. They will see that everyone would stop, and they would come out of being online and go. It's deliberately done. This does DOT. I spoke to them about it. That's why I got the traffic light. What the gentleman physically told me, he said, this area will not qualify because to solve the problem, if they would do arrows like I asked them, I said, you need to have red light and then left turn arrows green, right turn arrows green, and then a time where the traffic can pass. They said, there's places on Linden Boulevard that won't even get that. So they're not going to give that, which will solve the problem, because when you have continual traffic coming, they're not going to give the people that come out onto oncoming traffic a chance to be able to go because oncoming traffic will be moving. It's deliberate. It's not like they think something is wrong with it. There, everyone that waits, but there are people that you can hear them coming from down the block. They can see it's clearly red and they're not able to see the white walk sign. They're just coming from down the block because they see the light is red and they can do it. The only people that can stop this is the 71st precinct. I've spoken to the inspector. I've spoken to the NCO officer. I've spoken to the PO trim. It has to come from a higher power, and it should start with the community board because someone is really going to get hit. I'm glad that traffic has slowed down. My house has not been hit, so that's a good thing, but people are going to get struck. And now with the kids out in school, I mean, they run the light and turn the corner, not even knowing if someone's crossing. And this person has the traffic light to cross. So they do it at a speed where if someone's crossing, they would definitely be killed. So this is the precinct. We have to address it to the precinct and DOT, but DOT is not going to do the green arrow, which is the only thing that can correct this issue.
And that is why I think it is even more important, right, for us to invite the precinct into spaces like that, like this, so that they can hear when issues and community concerns, come up. So thank you for sharing that. Carmen, I see you have your hand up.
Yeah, I just want to chime in on that issue because it sounds like that is something that needs to go before the Transportation Committee, not the Public Safety. You need to understand the functions of different committees so that you don't overstep over each other. And as the former chair of the Transportation Committee, that can happen. So that is not a Public Safety Committee issue. That is a Transportation Committee issue. They are the one that deal with traffic, roadways, and things of that nature. Ours is more safety in the sense of crime and, liquor, of course, because it leads to violence and stuff like that. And I'm saying that because we had instances where people come to the wrong committee, and then when you send them to the right committee, they get very upset because they think that they've been given the runaround. But if I'm not mistaken, Mia, sounds to me like this is something that needs to be presented to the Transportation Committee. And if you as the chair want to do so, you may do so, but I don't think that's something that for this committee to get engaged in.
Oh, thank you, Ms. Kellerman. That's why I asked is this the platform? Because I'm not sure, but I will bring it to transportation as well.
Yeah, they deal directly with the borough commissioner in those kind of issues. Okay. And if you go to that meeting, they have a representative, or they used to anyway, have a representative come and take these complaints directly back to the commissioner.
Which commissioner? Which borough commissioner?
Borough commissioner.
Which
the DOT borough commissioner.
Oh, the DOT. Okay.
Yeah, Bray.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that, Carmen. Are there any other questions or concerns? Okay, great. So I would like to, and Mia, please correct me if I'm saying this wrong, but I would like to move the committee meeting to, I'm sorry, I'm saying this wrong. I would like to adjourn the meeting.
Most to adjourn.
Great. If no one has any other questions or
I
concerns.
second that motion.
Okay, great. Any other board members?
Right, say all in favor.
All in favor? I'm sorry, Paul.
Aye.
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 Thank you so much. Thank you, Janelle.
Thank
Good
you.
night, everyone. Thank you.
You're gonna get it,
All right.
Janelle. You're gonna get it, girl. You're doing a good job. Thank you.
I felt
Mia,
that you conducted the meeting well.
Mia,
Yes.
before
Yes.
you disconnect, I guess you could stop the recording. I don't know if you need to have it on or whatever, but quick question, the survey that's going out.
Yes.
What is it being used for?
So the survey that's being circulated to the committee is the community's input on our district statement of needs, our yearly charter mandated budget generation. Their recommendations for things that need to be improved or implemented in the district. Whether it is additional speed cameras, whether it is having a DOT study a specific intersection to make traffic more efficient, like similar to the one that you brought up, like things of that nature.
Perfect.
So it's community input. So please circulate it amongst your neighbors so that we get real input and identify locations that may be out of our daily sight.
Understood. Thank you so much. And would you be able to send the map that has the developments that are future coming? I don't know if
I'm compiling the information. I haven't forgotten about you guys. I just need to connect with Suki and Mr. Wolfling to make sure I have the appropriate links.
All right, great. Sis, thank you so much. You're doing an awesome job as well. Janelle, good night. Thank you so much. Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.